Even with Thanos and Glenn Powell, this movie couldn't stick the landing. Stick with the original, it's better. Yeah, we're gonna get into this movie because I wasn't having it. I was not having it at all.
This is America, and we don't put up with no bullshit.
All right, y'all, welcome back. Happy New Year, happy 2026. Let's make this a great year for everyone.
Yeah, boy.
But let's first talk about The Running Man. Because this one right here, this one hurt in a very specific way. This movie has the budget, the production value, and the ambition to work. What is missing is focus, conviction, and a real understanding of why the original works in the first place.
An innocent man accused of a crime, hard time or prime time. He must pay or play. I'll be back.
And that's the frustrating part. There are moments where the film genuinely clicks. Brief flashes where I felt pulled into the world, where the action lands and the satire almost bites. Unfortunately, those moments are consistently undercut by clumsy pacing, fake-looking visuals, heavy-handed messaging, and an ending that completely drops the ball. The world of Running Man still works. A society where entertainment has escalated to the point where human lives are consumed as content. Early on, the movie is clever and even funny, leaning into the absurdity of spectacle-driven violence. When it's confident, it understands the satire baked into the premise. And during these stretches, it works. I felt immersed. I felt the danger. I felt the dark humor.
¡Toma! Todos mis antepasados son judíos. ¡Heil Hitler!
The problem is that the film can't stay there. Every time momentum builds, the movie slams on the brakes to deliver a message.
Message!
And that push-pull completely kills its rhythm. Instead of letting the world speak for itself, the film keeps interrupting its own flow.
Message!
Ben Richards is one of the film's biggest strengths. You get inside the mind of Ben Richards. You understand his frustration. You understand his anger. You understand why he's willing to sacrifice his life for his family, because he's a family man. And I think that aspect gives that character so much depth. And that's what I like about Glenn Powell's acting and the character of Ben Richards, because there's depth to that character. It's not just some generic superheroes. At the start of the film, you really embrace Glenn Powell's character. He's an insufferable asshole, and that's exactly why he works. He's abrasive, flawed, but selfless, which makes him feel like someone who actually belongs in this brutal world. I genuinely like that. The tragedy is that Ben is a decently written character surrounded by filmmaking choices that actively undermine him. Minor issues pile up, fake environments, awkward pacing, clunky visual effects, and they chip away at the character who couldn't carry this movie much further. The foundation is there, the execution isn't. Unfortunately, Josh Brolin was underutilized for this movie. I was expecting a lot more depth to his maniacal antagonist, but he was just sort of flat. Like, he wasn't used. He was barely in the film, in my opinion. And when he was, the film could have got into his character in depth more, could have explained a lot more of his backstory, could have delved deep into his machinations, his thinking, his maniacal ways. But the film didn't do that. It just gave us... He's cold, manipulating, and convincingly evil. Exactly what you want from someone running a system this cruel. But here's the irony. He isn't the most abrasive force in the film. That honor goes to the pacing.
Message!
The constant start and stop structure drains the tension so thoroughly that the movie itself becomes more exhausting than the antagonist. Killian should have felt like the pressure point. Instead, the film structure does more damage than he ever does. The real surprise standout is Colman Domingo as Bobby Thompson. Colman Domingo, he just brought that 1980s charisma. It felt like a wrestler cutting a promo when he was on screen. It was very fascinating, very amusing, very entertaining. I really like Colman Domingo's character. Domingo brings pure charisma to the role. He understands the assignment Every time he's on screen, the movie wakes up.
Get your ass up!
He sells the cruelty and the enthusiasm of televised violence in a way that is both entertaining and unsettling. For brief moments, he reminds you exactly what the Running Man should feel like. Pretty much the movie's just Glenn Powell, Colin Domingo, and Josh Brolin. All the other characters are just for the back burner. Michael Cera was a bit entertaining, a bit off the wall. It was crazy to see him and to see his character, how he played it. They should have made Michael Cera one of the other show contestants instead of one of these guys trying to spread the message that, you know, the whole everything's screwed up.
Everybody else is fucked.
Another thing that kills me is that Ben is literally running across the whole country, and yet almost none of it feels real. The overuse of green screen is distracting, the environments look artificial, and the cinematography does the story no favors. There's a car chase down an alley that made me genuinely ask, you couldn't film this in an actual alley? When a movie like this avoids real locations, it kills immersion. You're consistently reminded you're watching a production instead of a world. That's deadly for a film built on tension and pursuit. To be fair, the action itself is often entertaining. It's exaggerated, over the top, and sometimes intentionally comedic. And when paired with a film's sense of humor, it works. The problem is that the movie keeps sabotaging these moments by stopping dead to explain itself.
Message!
The messaging is corny, not because the ideas are bad. The question how far entertainment can go before it becomes morally bankrupt is a good one. There's even a moment where I genuinely paused and thought, how messed up does entertainment have to become when we're killing people and their families on national television? Instead, the film spells everything out repeatedly. You're getting into the movie, you're enjoying the action, and then suddenly, boom, you got hit with another message. So that was it was just spread throughout the film that I really felt that it just killed the momentum of the film and the action. Again, and again, and again, and again, and again.
Still going. They keep going and going and going.
The pacing crashes every time it feels the need to underline its themes, making it feel similar to The Purge Anarchy.
We are outraged and we're fighting back.
Nice to meet you too, young lady.
It's not that I hate The Purge Anarchy, it's just I didn't like the corny messaging in that film. I think it was trash. The same thing in here. All this extra messaging, it should be shown, not told. Like, it's more show and tell for me. I like when a movie shows you the impacts of the negativity of the cinematic world that the movie's trying to relay, vice smacking you over the head, telling you over and over and over that this is bad, this needs to be fought against. We know this. You don't need to tell us consistently over and over and over again. I think they should have dialed back with that messaging, and it would have worked a lot better for the movie overall. The climax doesn't land, the payoff isn't satisfying, and for an action film based on thrills and survival, this is not the home run finish it needed. I like the beginning, I like the action beats, I like the humor, but the movie collapses right when it should have been delivering its strongest punch.
I broke my back.
No, sir, I didn't like it.
The 1987 version worked because it had bite and it was fun. It was mean, cynical, and unapologetic in its satire. It didn't stop to explain itself. It trusted the audience to get it. So I think the 1987 one was superior just for the fact that so many people were involved that just took out a lot of the hemorrhaging aspects of the book that can't translate well into film. And you notice that the satire, the dark humor felt better and it felt more fun in the original. And it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. You can't go wrong with the Schwartz. The 2025 version has ideas, moments, and performances worth praising, but it lacks the ruthless follow-through. As a result, it feels like a weaker modern dystopian film rather than a bold reimagining of the classic. The Running Man isn't bad, it's frustrating. And with that, I give it a below average. It shows flashes, it gives us a strong lead, a charismatic host, and a world that still works, then consistently gets in its own way. Horrible visuals, clumsy pacing, heavy-handed messaging, and a weak ending turn what should have been a sharp, nail-biting action satire into a film that never fully commits. it never quite makes it to the finish line. And just stick with the original. 1987 one is better. And you got Schwarzenegger. So, have you seen The Running Man? Let's discuss. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and please don't forget what to do. Shout out to my boy at the Emmanuel Guzman for the track. Join me next time on Truly Taming Views, where we keep it real even when the movies don't. Until then, grab that Gatorade, stay off the phone, tie your shoelaces while we stay off the grid, and hopefully we can make it down to the Baja.
Down in the Baja.
God bless, Jesus is King, and keep chasing your passions.
The fuck is he talking about?